Hi, and welcome to Cat Run Figures. I'm your host, Caitlin, and today we are going to be reviewing Supersons issue 1. So, first off, we got to see the introduction to the new team of the Supersons just recently in Superman, the pages there where Damian Wayne's Robin actually kidnapped the new Jonathan Kent Superboy, and he meant to do some tests on him to find out the exact extent of his power sets that he's inherited from his father. He wanted to know what is he capable of and what's going to be coming out of this. So we saw that. It was a great story. This is a book that I and so many others have really been looking forward to, and I gotta tell you, the first issue did not disappoint me. So, jumping right on into it, we get to see of a little bit of the back and forth between the two lives of these two boys. I'm gonna skip over the intro to the comic, even though it's hilarious. It really doesn't go along with any of the rest of the comic.
Oh, so it's kind of like me on your channel.
It's kind of a sporadic mission that the boys are on, where they're being chased by someone, and it's kind of hilarious because they had to run. And of course, Superboy, quite a bit faster than Damian, has Damian Wayne on his shoulders. Literally is piggybacking Robin. So that's hilarious. But it doesn't go along with the rest of the comics. So I'm not going to go any more into that. I just wanted to pinpoint that little funny bit. But we get to see a little bit of the difference between the two boys. So starting off into it, we get to see regular day in the life of Jonathan Kent. He goes to the bus stop, rides the school bus to school. He's trying to do the right thing, standing up for a friend who's being bullied. Of course, he wants to use his superpowers to deal with the bullying situation, but decides not to, and instead tries to stand up against the bullies in a normal way. Later on, they have a snowball fight outside the school where a bunch of the bullies actually put rocks in the snowballs instead of just having straight snowballs. So one of his friends gets injured. And again, we get to see a little bit of Superboy wanting to use his powers against these bullies, wanting to stop this injustice with his powers, but he decides against it because he knows this wouldn't be good for him. This wouldn't be good for his family. So instead, he tries to do everything he can the normal way. Until, of course, a huge, basically mountain-sized snowball gets thrown atop of all the bullies. And no one really knows where it came from until, of course, he looks up at the roof of the school and he sees Damian Wayne. So, Damian Wayne was incognito this entire day. He was actually wearing a fake mask and fake suit, even stilts. And yes, he was in fact the bus driver who drove Jonathan and the rest of them to school that day. So I gotta tell you, I love the fact that he kind of reveals himself in a Scooby-Doo fashion. He pulls off the mask and he reveals the stilts. It's very much them unmasking a Scooby-Doo villain. It's ridiculous, but it's great, you know? And they're kind of going back and forth. And he's saying, wait, weren't you also my substitute teacher? It's like, so you just faked everything that you just taught us? He said, oh, I didn't fake anything. He, of course, is a genius and could have had his doctorate by, what did he say here? By age 7 in geology. And they asked, why didn't he? And she said very simply, because his mother killed his teacher. because that would put a damper on anyone's lessons. But instead of having like a normal schooling, normal life, he's got his own little superhero life where everything is just 10 times crazier and extreme. Damian Wayne, he's a badass. He's a grown-up stuck in a 13-year-old boy's body. So we get to see back in Gotham City, Damian Wayne is throwing around a number of batarangs at targets and just being bored in the Batcave. Then we get to see Bruce Wayne's leaving. He's going out on patrol that night. So Damian's thinking, finally. So he jumps to hurry to get dressed. And Bruce tells him very simply, he's not going anywhere. He's been ignoring his studies. He is homeschooled. He's homeschooled by Alfred, and he is supposed to do homework and basic schooling like any other homeschooled child would be. However, Damian doesn't see the point of this. He doesn't understand why his father is being unreasonable. And Bruce tells him he gave him his word about his studies, so he's got to keep it. So back we get to see Jonathan and the Kent family. They're having a little bit of a family game night. So we get to see the dynamic difference between the Wayne family and the dysfunction there and the Kent family, and how the Kent family, they're very loving. They're constantly trying to hang out with each other and trying to build this relationship. They're always saying I love you constantly. They're always trying to be as supportive as physically possible. Where in the Wayne family, it's more like, you screwed up. You're in trouble now. Not so much as wanting to actually sit down with them and work through the issue. It's more, you're in trouble. Here's your punishment. But ultimately, we get to see Superman's been called away. So, of course, he kisses his wife Lois, and he kisses his son's head and tells him, he loves him, because that's what he does. He loves his family, and he wants them to know that. So he flies off to save the day, and it's John's bedtime. So John's going to bed, and someone's skulking around in his bedroom. So John jumps out of bed and is going to use his heat vision to attack whoever it is. Well, it's Damian Wayne, and Damian's making fun of him for the bedtime, 9 o'clock bedtime for all those kiddies out there. Which, honestly, 9 o'clock, that kind of sucks. I mean, you're a superhero. Your bedtime's 9 o'clock.
I'm a grown adult. My bedtime is 9 o'clock.
That's because you're tired, not because somebody makes you. Anywho, the two boys have a little bit of a back and forth, stating who would have won in that situation if they had actually gone to blows there. And that's when Lois hears something going on in Jonathan's room, so she calls out before opening the door. This gives Damian enough time to hide, and Jonathan enough time to grab his laptop and apologize for not turning off the sound. His mom then reprimands him and says that it's bedtime, not time to play on the computer. So, of course, I love this. Damian Wayne is not only outside the window now, but he's hanging upside down in the tree like a frickin' bat. It's spectacular. But we get to see Damian kind of suggest that the two boys go out on their own. And they're going to go into looking into this incident all by themselves. So he asks them very simply whether or not he's going to put the super in Superboy or not. Or if he's just going to sleep at home like a little baby. But, So anywho, they go out. Damian's teasing Jonathan once again because he can't fly yet. And they're trying to scale through buildings faster. So John suggests that Damian piggyback on him because he can scale the building quite a bit faster than Damian and his tech can. And Damien tells him that he will never be piggybacking on his narrow shoulders. So I love it because it goes back to the very beginning with their little running chase sequence. But they're trying to break into LexCorp to go into this secret mission that Damien has cooked up for him. And that's when Lex Luthor, Superman, pops up and asks them if he can help the boys with something. So this is where we find the end of Supersons. I gotta tell you, it was really fun once again to see the dynamic between these two boys. I want to see more of them building their friendship. I love just the fact that they're so opposite of each other, but they're so much fun. It's very similar to the Batman Superman dynamic, but it's children. So, a lot of craziness will ensue. So give me a like if you like this video, comment below and tell me whether or not you picked up this issue and if you enjoyed it as much as I did. Subscribe to my channel for more comic book content or check out any of the older videos I have up for offer here on Cat Run Figures. And until next time, I'm your host Caitlin. Bye.